qualifying round Heat 6 will be coming up next. And this is a really cool, eclectic mix, this international field. This is going to be a really interesting heat to watch.
It is.
Buckle up and prepare yourself. Pressure's not going anywhere, especially for a WSL replacement surfer dealing with a different type of pressure. You know, there's no possibility of getting in the title conversation, but, you know, this is our first look at young Jabe, who's done a lot in his junior career.
Well, that's why he's here.
POSs.
This is because of his junior placing, his North America ranking #1. He's gotten an opportunity as a replacement surfer here at the Basin.
You know, in just what I've seen of Jabe surfing on his Instagram and on some videos, just real solid. You know, a powerful surfer from Ventura, California.
That's
unfortunate.
Nerves. Yeah, and it's nerves. It's scary. This is
I feel for Jabe right now. I mean, I'm watching him going, oh, this is going to be awesome, but he just didn't get the chance right there. You know, that's rookie surfing for you, but you know, we know the skill level, the talent's all there. This is just straight up nerves.
Yeah, and pushing it. You know, I think you're probably watching the best in the world, and you want to keep up at that same bar. And pushing pretty hard on that second maneuver and just going up and over the top.
Well, pressure is the key word, I think, all around, not just here, but also leading up. Jabe Swierkocki now up and ripping. Hopefully being able to recover from that first wave. We just won't talk about it. We just will not mention it because we're excited to see what this young surfer has to offer. And, you know, this is not an indication of how good this kid actually surfs. You put this is like putting a college baseball player in the World Series. You know, there has to be a lot of anticipation. He's been thinking about it. He probably got the news a couple weeks ago. So he'll get back. He's got more chances, and this kid is a ripper. And these are just two nerve shaker waves. Just get him out of the way.
Yeah, well, he got him done. Nothing to lose on run number 2 here. And if he wants to find a bonus wave, which is a great incentive, I will say, he's got to execute on his next run.
Everyone looking sharp in the Red Bull Athlete Zone as we see a very familiar face in the Basin. Adrian Ace Buchan, one of the longest serving members on the top 34. The goofy foot from Avoca Beach has given us so much entertainment for an incredibly long period of time. Still so engaged with his surfing. Felt that he found so many areas to improve on during the break from competition. How is that style into the barrel for Ace, getting really creative with it. Drives out in front. That'll be the down carve to set up the lift ahead. I love that combination where you fade and know that your next turn is going to go straight vertical. Works really well here at the Surf Ranch on the right or the left. Right there, he attacked it before it goes hollow, and there's that real creative entry. Beautiful style for Buchan. Gets that back foot back on the traction pad and seals it with a backhand wrap. Love the expression and entry into the pit. Judges talked about they're looking at how you are entering those hollow sections, and he had enough time to kind of soul his way through a couple of hollow pits there, Ro.
Really enjoy Ace's approach to this wave. I remember walking into the Surf Ranch Arena and seeing Ace on a wave for the first time, and just the way he was hammering it and approaching it, he's got such a good read on this wave. Yeah, you mentioned, you know, that unique perspective, and Ace is bringing that, the way that he tucks into that barrel, gets super deep on the foam ball there. And Ace is such a student, you know, he's a veteran on tour, like you mentioned, Joe, and he brings that experience, and he's trying to look for that point of difference on this wave. Love the way that he tucks under there and prepares for that barrel.
So stylish, straight into a perfect backhand tube stall. That's as good as it gets right there. And then crushing that end section. The footwork was so subtle, to moving that back foot to the back of the pad to make sure he had everything in that last little backhand carve. And I think first off, it's just so great to see Ace Buchan here in the jersey. He had quite a road to recovery after injuring his back in competition at Margaret River.
Yeah, it's so good to see Ace back and just to hopefully know that he's healthy. I mean, to make the decision to make the trip to California from Australia, he's got to be feeling healthy and strong within himself. And yeah, good to see Ace's return here. Only 20 surfers re-qualify this season, Joe, so it's super scary.
It's such a big deal. I mean, it sounds maybe, okay, 22 to 20, but in pro surfing, that's just a tight crew again. We've seen so many stories where people are right on that 22 mark, saving their career. Now it's down to top 20. Same situation for women. Top 9 re-qualify compared to top 10 in the past. Buchan always famous for having one of the best backends in the business, but that was just due to the waves on tour, from snapper to bells to Margaret River main break to Jabe. He got to feature it quite a bit. Got to go left a lot last year during the break, and he has some huge power carves. Big tail blow on that off the top. That was a nice decision to go for a risky, progressive maneuver. Nice, beautiful wrap. Perfect composure for Buchan. Setup work. There's the stall. He's pretty deep. Buchan almost had one of the deeper approaches on that tube that could have seen a big score. Ended up just racing on without him. A tough one there, but let's get a closer look on the left as we the Shiseido ski cam.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, we mentioned that Ace has sat a number of competitions out, but just to note that mentally this guy is so tough. He'd probably be thinking about past runs that he's had here at the Surf Ranch and really tapping into that muscle memory as he gets very fluid on that wave, grabs that rail to kind of steady himself. Something that we haven't really seen a maneuver pulled like that. And then Ace setting up this bottom section of the wave. You see the subtle movements of his feet, you know, shuffling forwards, that back foot especially, as he sets up for that barrel there. We saw a flash of his head in the lip line, and that's when he went down. But he got super deep. If he had made it out, you know, that would have been one of the better barrels on the left that we've seen.
You really have to pick a special place on the left to go for a big blowtail where you're sliding out. You're committed to like burn all of your speed on such a fast left. So that was that risk involved with Ace changing gears, blowing the tail, and then having enough time to recover. And now all focus for Freestone, two-time World Junior Champ, and also an all-star in a lot of different types of conditions, spending obviously a ton of time in Hawaii these days. So he was so thankful to have that long journey back in his home country in Australia for 4 events that were all back-to-back to back. Got to see a lot of old friends. So different for surfing, having athletes actually know what to expect. But still, you have to rely on your natural surfer instinct to perform and respond on the fly. Freestone, 3 moves with the tail blow on the 3rd. That's going to put him right under the lip for the barrel, where we see the fine line of judges incredibly rewarding those hard entries into the pit. If you're hanging it up off the lip and then enter into the barrel, they're going to love that. Obviously, it's incredibly difficult. That time, Jack didn't pull it off.
Yeah, you got to risk it for the biscuit here at the Surf Ranch. The judges, you can't hoodwink them. You've got to kind of find that point of difference when you hook it under the lid there. And Jack just mistimed it just by a beat, and he goes down. And you know what we've noticed from the last day and a half or so of competition is this section here is incredibly tricky. That's where that little bit of variance in the wave really comes into play on that first barrel section. So Jack, unfortunately, falls victim to that.
It's like, you know, when you set up a barrel a long way before it starts, judges will say, okay, you were well prepared for that barrel. There wasn't a bunch of risk there. So that's that fine line. Do you do that last turn? You know it's about to bottom out. If you pull it, you're rewarded. And if you go down, you really have to count on that second right that he'll have in run number 2. Now in 15 seasons, and then dealing with a back injury, dealing with a pretty low rating at the moment with just a couple events remaining. The thing is, though, Ace has won Tahiti. So that'll be a nice, happy place when he returns to the South Pacific. And if he has got pressure on him, we'll see if that ends up being a hero moment where we'll see him back on tour or see him moving on. Hopefully. Yeah. He's back on tour.
100%. He's got the potential to win Tahiti for sure, Joe.
Jack Freestone started off the year with an equal 9th at the Billabong Pipe Masters, where he gets to hang out with a lot of his longtime friends and major sponsors. Enjoying the moment on tour. He finaled as a rookie at a CT venue at Barra da Tijuca in Brazil. Was runner-up to John Florence that season. Making the move to surfboard shaped by John Peisel a couple of years back. And setting up the left. Quick slap off that lip line. Floats it off the top. Nice deep bottom turn, tail blow, reverse. He'll be hung up. And falling on that big whipping reverse rotation. I feel like Rosie probably just had the game plan on his first 2 waves to go for it. And now it's going to be pressure on his second run to complete the right and the left.
Yeah, having that mindset to really throw it all out there on the run number 1. But now that kind of puts the pressure on him for this run 2. He can't afford to mess up. This is first real dig at a substantial turn. And, you know, we also saw Jack Robbo go for a similar kind of maneuver. He fell off in that same section. So, yeah, if people have fallen victim to it, and we'll see Jack how he kind of regathers himself.
So Jack Freestone will start preparing for his second run of competition here at the Jeep Surf Ranch Pro, presented by Adobe. Much more action to come in the qualifying round right after this. It's just past 10 o'clock in the morning local time here in Lemoore, California, as we're working through the qualifying round of competition, already having surfers eliminated. And with this format, sometimes you're only catching 4 waves and you're getting knocked out. Pressure starts instantly here at the Jeep Surf Ranch Pro, presented by Adobe. Jadson Andre qualified for the tour in 2010. And he gets better and better each and every time he surfs. His backhand attack is powerful. Bit of a roller coaster to set the rail in the tube. Probably wanted to be more deep. Good news is he's still standing. Let's see how he reacts now. Carve gets deep. Strider, how's he looking?
Looks solid. Looks like he's just putting the scores down so he can actually, you know, build the house, so to speak. But a little off time to hair on the inside there, but he's still going to duck under. And let's see if he can execute when he comes out of the bowl here. He's going to hold it in there because he got in late, so he pushed it a little further, left him a little less lip line on the inside. It's all about timing here in the basin. You really have a really good rhythm and flow so you can actually bring all the execution all together at one time. So we can see what he do on the left.
Good man, Strider. Strider on the back of the Red Bull ski, doing a good job on the call as Jadson was trying to make up for maybe missing that barrel out the back. He recovered well, and that rail was changing shape, Rosie.
Yeah, this is a settler wave for Jadson, I think. You know, his first run here, he wants to kind of commit to this wave, but not overdo it. He wants to get to that end part of the basin. But yeah, he probably wanted to get a bit deeper on that first section. That wave kind of didn't hollow out as much as he's used to, and then goes to the trusty rail. Jaddy is just such a positive vibe warrior, though. The guy exudes positive energy. He's definitely one of the captains of Team Brazil. But yeah, just look at him trying everything to kind of force it and put the brakes on there, and doesn't get too much cover. In fact, I would say that he didn't really get barreled at all on that last section.
And Jadson was able to just get that first wave out of the way. Like we mentioned, other events, you get your warm-ups in, you try your board before your heat starts. And it's great to have De Souza honored in this way. 15 years on tour, the 2015 world champ. Told us last year during the break that this would be his final lap. And when things started changing and some events maybe were canceled, he was like, oh no, this is it. This will be it, no matter what the tour looks like, no matter if I'm surfing somewhere that I've never surfed before. He's still so engaged. And the thing is, he might be having more fun and the pressure's off for points, but he still wants to win and put on a big performance. This is that part where you're like on a roller coaster ride. Stay about 6 feet off that pole, and then you start angling towards the central tower to get into this wave. There's flag markers. You see the white one out the back, the green one. There's different points where you can understand where the wave might change shape if you surf this wave a lot. And you have time to really look that way. Jadson all focused on maneuvers right now. Hard off the bottom. Love the spray off the tail. Big punctuation mark on that hack. Always surfs incredibly fast. He'll try to burn a little speed to get something out of the barrel. Now the windup for the finish. Big layback. And another slip of a tail pad where the back foot just went flying off on the finish. Tough one for Jade, losing the finishing move, but it completed a lot of maneuvers down the line. Let's take a look, Ro.
Yeah, Jade on his forehand looking fierce. I know that last year during the COVID lockdown, he spent a lot of time in the Maldives on boat trips with fellow Brazilians, and this wave almost has that kind of feeling of like a lowy fishu somewhere in the Maldives. So Jade putting that experience to good use here at the surf ranch. A lot of spray coming off that board and just stays just ahead of this wave, which is so important, especially on the left. It's so easy to get caught by that white water. Jams into the face of that wave. Watch as he drops and he anticipates this section right here. Pulls into the barrel, but Joey, like you said, we've seen a number of errors this morning, and definitely that tail pad has been vicious to a lot of the surfers that slip off.
Ace Buchan involved as well. There's so many great stories from that class of 2006. As we're always thinking about Andy Irons and the impact he made and still makes on pro surfing. So Seth Moniz trying to get part of the bonus run. I mean, you could do well in this run number one where you're already going to qualify. We'll see if he gets keepers right out of the gates. A couple of big frontside carves for the Hawaiian. Slams on the brakes, real creative stall, and holds a nice position in the pit. Top turn wrap for Moniz, clean vertical to follow. Snap with a fin release, back to a carve, so variety's looking sharp. Tail blow again to mix it up. Jams it mid-face to set up the inside cave. Laying incredibly low. There's deep right on the foam ball. Seth's going to come out. And just going for that extended carve, but a bit of a misstep on the final turn. Feeling how your legs are at that point of the ride. You have a lot of options. If you're a guy like Seth, do you go big above the lip? Do you just slam it? What'd you think, Rosie?
I was so impressed. I mean, focusing on this beginning section of the wave for Seth Moniz, every turn is individualized. I mean, he really lays on that rail, finishes off the turn, and then leans into the next. So, you know, his read on the beginning part, I was very impressed. As you mentioned, that variety. He wasn't, you know, swooping there, throwing the fins out. There was a point of difference in his surfing, and he was bringing a bit of added extra oomph to those maneuvers. So you can tell why, you know, his legs got to, the burn factor got to him at the end, but very impressed with Seth's performance. Solid start.
He had a blast to the Aussie leg of the tour and kind of handled it on his own, and then signed up with some Australian coaching with Andy King. But he said, hey, if you're going to hang out with the Colapinto brothers, you're going to end up making some music videos, do some acting. They were so entertaining, what they were doing outside of the water. He's been unmatched in the last couple of CT events and also the test events. Only surfer that can come to the basin and say he is undefeated. Seth Moniz preparing for the left. Nice backside blast there for Moniz. Hard off the bottom, big section. That was committed, putting him deep, but he's got so much momentum. The climbs will help him get back out in front. Beautiful hack there. Not wasting any time, going turn for turn to put himself back in front of the wave. Some people decide to pump and just race it. Seth decided to belt the lip line. He'll pull in nice and early. He's incredibly deep. So deep he'll go down. So he'll have a part of the wave to improve on the second run, but I really enjoyed the power he was putting through the lip on the left.
Yeah, definitely. Like blowing through that lip and also keeping pace with it and linking up those sections. So Seth, he's got 2 solid rides. He hasn't got the completion on both of them, which means he's got more to give on the second run, but he's already locked in a solid 5.8 on his right. So this left, making connection with these sections, throwing that board vertical, slashing up there and coming down with the hook of that wave. So staying in that critical section of the wave, the judges taking that into consideration. Like you said, Joe, you got incredibly deep on that inside barrel. Doesn't find the exit, but you know, he's got some numbers to work with. He's got another run coming up, and he's got a foundation to work from.
He did incredibly well as a rookie at Teahupo'o in Tahiti, where he pulled into some monsters. The water was dark and kind of brown and ominous. It was overcast, and the rookie ended up getting a big semifinal finish. And this year, I mean, he's the only guy to beat Medina before a final, and that happened at Margaret River. Seth was pretty humble about the win and said it was a challenging heat, but he'll take it and run with it. Having more fun than I think he's ever had before, enjoying his job, his life, and his wonderful wife that's been by his side this year. And gosh, we're in stop 6. He's made 4 of the 5 finals we've had this year. Easy to say, his best start to date in his career.
I love the photo that he posted on Instagram of him on the airplane headed back to Brazil or wherever he was going, but all of the trophies that he had accumulated from that stop on the tour. I mean, it's great to see this glimpse of Gabriel, a part of his personality that we're seeing kind of for the first time. He's just in such a great place.
And what a big honor too, once again for De Souza. Gabriel Medina wearing yellow, meaning he's world number 1, but that has De Souza's name printed on his back. Strider, Medina's getting started.
Oh, he is ready to rock. Are you kidding me? Look at the flare and the energy. Whoa, that was interesting. Late pull into the bowl. That was an incredible transition into the barrel. Completely disappeared from our angle. Let's see what he does here on the inside. Nice setup turn through the roof right there. Fins out the back. Another one. Vicious cycle of off the tops. He's going to come to this inside, get some more work done. Repetitive, but unbelievably solid. Leaning forward into the bowl, angling the board on the rail. That was an interesting angle coming out of that tube. Straight through the, oh man, are you kidding me? Come on. What do you guys think about that one?
That was unbelievable, was. Just the composure of Gabriel Medina, and I loved what he did in the barrel. I think sometimes you're anticipating something wild above the lip, or him trying to race it as fast as he can. He enjoyed those tubes. How was the stance that he had coming out of that end section cave, and still with the composure to blow the whole board out the back?
Well, was his reaction as he was pulling into this barrel, like the whoa, that was weird for Medina to kind of misstep. I didn't doubt it for a second that he was going to come out of the barrel, which is weird because every other surfer that's kind of mistimed it, I thought there's no way they're going to recover. But Medina, he's so confident, just always puts on a show. I mean, I think for Medina, he's also got the ability to pace himself throughout this event. We managed that, mention the 100% win rate for Medina. He always gives us something more on every wave that he gets here.
And just the ability to surprise us, so radical. Whole board out the back, backhand nose pick reverse. You're not seeing a finish like that on the right for a lot of the goofy footers in this event. He definitely made a statement on that finishing move.
Definitely, just completing that ride. And Joe, one of my favorite moments for Medina wasn't even one where he was surfing. I think on the podium at Rottnest when you guys had that conversation, and he kind of let his guard down and really showed us, watch Medina in awe. I mean, he is just evolving every performance at the Surf Ranch. This is only his first run at this event, and he's already got us with our jaws on the floor, wondering what else this guy has for us and what he can do to put on even more of a show.
I just love how spontaneous he is through different types of sections. He was over the pit there, quick corrupt, but it's not just okay, corrupt and land and celebrate. He was already in gear to do another maneuver.
Yeah, and that's the unique perspective that he brings. I mean, most surfers look at that section, they want to exit the barrel, do that kind of surfing, and then call it a day. But then Medina to have the ability to do a second turn on that last section.
Jabe Swierkocki was driving up to Lemoore from Ventura with his shaper Mike Walter from Channel Islands. and his mom Samara, and he was just going, yep, never been there before. And the practices had already began. So with Jeremy's withdraw, it was like, wait, okay, we've got to get this guy some waves. And he didn't get as many as everyone, but he's just been so positive, going, hey, I'm here for this experience. And after the road that he's had with some injuries, he's just happy to be in the water again. He broke his leg last year at Lowers doing an air, re-broke it at Rincon when he thought he was finally back. So he was sidelined for quite a while and has been surfing well for the last 2 months in the lead up to this call-up. Known for an incredible style in Ventura. He's got a lot of right-handers to enjoy, like C Street, which is just down south from Rincon. Puts 2 hands on the face to stall. Great read for Jabe. Nice deep bottom turn. There's the top turn wrap. Swierkocki belts it nice and clean. Off that lip line. I love the top turn carve, so you can tell he's looking to mix it up a bit. Nice green wall. That just gets you fired up to get barreled when you get to this part of the wave. He'll be so deep and a little bit too deep on the end section cave. So going to be all improvement for Jabe on his last wave. Went down early on the right and fell going for a blowtail on the left, so he knows these will be his keepers if he wants a shot at making the next round. Let's have a look, Rosie.
Yeah, just, you know, you can tell that he's kind of refocused his energy here on the second run. You mentioned his small score. It's a 0.5 that he's looking to build upon on the second run. So, you know, it's kind of have that attitude where this is the last shot. Let me throw everything at it as a wild card, as an injury replacement. You have that ability to come in with that kind of perspective. You've got nothing to lose against these big guys, everything to gain, a lot of experience learnt in a short amount of time, and unfortunately trying to get too deep on that last barrel section.
Jabe Swierkocki enjoying his wild card moment, hanging out with the Waz on the back of the Red Bull ski.
Welcome back to the Jeep Surf Ranch Pro, presented by Adobe. Chris Cote here with Pete Mel to fire up this afternoon. The basin is doing its job. Now it's up to the surfers to rise to the occasion. Gabriel Medina doing Gabriel Medina things on his last 2 waves, going off. Now it's up to Jabe Swierkocki, trying to recover from his previous 2 efforts. This guy is a really good surfer, and we have high expectations for him.
He definitely shook off the nerves a bit on that second right-hander, but now caught behind on this left, and bit of a shocker there. So his left score is in the books now. It's going to be just a throwaway score. Definitely improved on the right, though. Just didn't quite get out of the barrel in that final section. You know what went wrong? Again, you're trying to push, getting that tail release out the back, but it's a fine line of keeping that speed moving towards the fence. And once you start to do directional changes like that, get stuck up, it puts you behind, especially when it starts to run. You remember, like, a lot of the surfers will actually bypass that section or float it like Gabe did.
Just do what Gabriel Medina does, right? It's that
and
easy.
He makes it look way too easy.
So Jabe now will have one more opportunity.
No, he's done. That was it.
Oh, that was it. That was his last ride.
Yeah,
but
that was his left. He'll keep that 1.03 as his left score, and then just a 2.4 on the right.
You could see flashes. You know, you could see what he's capable of. And, of course, we would have loved to have seen a full 45 seconds of Jabe. We will see more of him moving into the future. He's got a big, big competitive career ahead of him, and he's gonna have a long drive home to Ventura with a lot to think about, and hopefully this experience will get him fired up as he moves on to his next series of events. A lot of mistakes this morning, but also some glorious moments provided by Gabriel Medina. Italo Ferreira got himself up onto the board. The top 8 right now is stacked, the best of the best. Will Ace Buchan now break through to the other side? We saw some flashes, some really stylish surfing from
his first run was solid.
Yeah,
I loved his backhand approach, and I loved that he was getting creative with the lines and the entries into right here, the barrel. See how he just kind of knock-kneed it and slowed down the bottom turn to get deep, just like that. Oh, that's too deep.
Not like that. Almost like that.
It was that second section, and he was really right in the bubble. He was in the right spot. But Jen, it's just like instantly, it just swallows you, and you're just like, what happened? I was in the right line. I thought everything was good.
There's some contagious energy in the lineup with a lot of surfers right now not even getting halfway through this wave.
I would say, though, that Ace is pretty satisfied with his first run on the right. He completed it, got it done. This one just trying to push that barrel a little deeper, and there it was, that little extra stall, and that water filled up the hole. That's where it kind of does that double section on that barrel, where on the CT3, it barrels for a hot second, and then it'll actually kind of slow up, right, and then barrel again. And trying to navigate that little technical barrel, almost had it.
617, the high mark for now for Ace Buchan. That's a keeper on the day. The average score today is right there in that mid-6 range, I would say, whereas
Good
yesterday
range.
we saw, a lot of 8s. 837 for Gabriel Medina this morning. Kanoe Igarashi had a couple high 7s. Your leaderboard tells the story there. If you can get yourself an 8, you are in a solid position, even with the lower backups. Get yourself into that top 5, and then go wild. September 9th through 17th. That is prime time at lower trestles. We're not there yet. You've got to make it through this basin if you want to find yourself in contention to be in the WSL top 5 at the end of the year. 2 more events after this, Mexico and Tahiti. Let's go into the lineup right now with Strider Wasilewski.
All right, well, I got Ace. He's preparing. It's an interesting look at these athletes as they get ready to get on these waves, because everything has to settle. They're breathing. They're trying to figure out in their head, the run, basically, because you've got a platform to do so much damage on a wave. And are they going to be spontaneous? Do they have things timed out? What happens if you miss the timing? Then you have to regain your composure. We've seen it every wave, supposedly the same. It's never the same. That's what we love about it. Here we go. Ace taking a look at this one. Let's watch it. Looking like he's got a nice clean paddle in. He's got a good line on it. Ace going to work. First turn nice and crispy. Back up into the lip line. Board looks solid. Bang, right there as it steeps out. Hard to stay up in that lip. Big open face carve. I like the switch up of the maneuvers, then goes vertical. Another one straight up. This is the hardest part of the section to ride, and does well, pushing the board out under his feet at the bottom. Another beautiful turn right there on the face. Here we go. It's going to run away from him. Oh, I don't know if he's making it back into that one as this thing pipes off on the inside, boys. Back to you.
Yeah, another case of...
He was on his way to improving the score. He had a 4.9 he's trying to improve on for his left. And everything, I love that combo with the big arcing carve to the straight up turn, which is, variety in that combo. He is such a great student of the game. He knows how to get the scores and to please the judges with his style of surfing, going and playing to his strengths. And his strengths are definitely those combos. Big, strong arc into straight up hit here. Watch, this is the section, slows up, big directional change, and then straight up into the lip.
He was doing everything right.
Yeah, it just was the choice of turns right here in this section when it starts to run off. That right there put him a little bit behind it. And then that was it. Trying to make it up at that point was very tough. Projection off the top would have been helpful to get back towards that fence, because everything is moving towards the fence always. Mitch had mentioned it earlier about the aerial choices and maneuver choices being something that are so important. They have to be types of maneuvers that pushes you out into the shoulder. That's why the rotations are, going for a normal reverse, bring you back going straight, which is why you see it pretty much only happening either on that outside section, which is slow enough, or on the very end section. Jack Freestone now, he's carrying 2 low scores, so this is it. He's got to make it happen here on this right or this next left. So you need to talk about that pressure and how you deal with it. Take the next big deep breaths and have a good time. Enjoy this moment.
Jack Freestone is built for this wave. He's got all the tricks, all the turns, of course, tube riding prowess. So far, not the scores to match his abilities. He is riding Dark Arts Pizel-shaped board. You see it fitting nicely in the pocket there. Building up down the line, setting the table.
A little kick stall to get himself deep in the barrel. There's that second where it slows up.
I like the front arm guiding him out of the tube. Now here's where it's time to get creative, get busy. Provide us a memorable moment. Force the hand of the judges. You have to make them give you a big score.
Yeah, you're looking for that wow moment. Here's that end section. Can he get there late behind to get underneath?
Good entry right there.
Little nose pick.
Nicely
Pulled
done.
off. That was huge. That'll settle the nerves.
That is exactly what we wanted to see at the end of this wave. You know, he goes almost lateral in the air, almost getting upside down into that kind of a club sandwich type of frontside reverse maneuver, but kind of more projecting air reverse, landing with the nose pick, whipping it around nicely. This board looks incredible.
Yeah, it does. It does. Definitely precision is there. I like how he builds momentum on this wave. You know, that's what he needed to do, is build that comfort level and start to, you know, get a little bit tougher on those rails towards the end of the wave, right? Long time in the barrel. Wasn't super deep, but that's okay, because he got to work here and the finish was super strong. I liked his entry into the barrel at the very end. You know, he got a turn done and comes right out of that turn straight into the barrel. And pretty deep on this part, but then little nose pick. And we haven't seen a ton of these pulled off. Nice for Jack to get it. You see that picking the nose, which helps the board rotate around. Gets it done in a very tight transition.
That's just a straight up power air. You know, he just forces his board out of the water, up and into it, and rides out so clean. That has to feel so good. He was sitting on a 0.7 and a 137 going,
yeah, he's halfway there.
How is this happening to me? What is this trend of ones and below ones? So Jack has now entered the upper echelon with that last wave, which we think is going to be a high number. All right, so entry points not just involve your tactic of getting into the two, but also where you take off. That sets the tempo for your whole wave. A nice casual approach from Jack.
Oh
no. That is sketchy to start.
Right? Especially when it's such an important wave.
Oh, but a good recovery, though. And I think what Jack showed us on his previous wave was his patience. He didn't try to fit 50 turns in. He did just what he needed to do.
This is an important wave. If he can get himself a good number, he's going to get into that second position and guarantee himself a second wave in the bonus round.
Well, he's got a 6.5 for his previous wave. So he's got one keeper.
Yeah, that was the right. He got the 6.5, which is a good number. You know, he's trying to comparison here mostly to Ace Buchan. Oh, it's going to be close.
That was a cool looking start. It looked like he wanted to go for the layback into the tube and maybe just a little bit of indecision. Maybe a little bit of pain for Jack Freestone.
Well, again, he probably needed a 4.5-ish, a little 4.5. Man, I'm just doing some crude math here, but, you know, it's going to be close in order he'd actually get over the top of Ace Buchan. And I'm sure Ace breathed a bit of a sigh of relief with that barrel unmake. You see, watching the replay here, you're right. He was pacing up, knowing full well that he didn't have to go super hard here to try to get the number to get into the number 2 spot. So you put him a little bit behind on that one turn there. Just trying to figure out what happens at this end part. You get on that tail, but you just slipped all too much. You know, didn't have the speed to go through that final section.
And we're back with Jadson Andre on his backhand. This is the Jeep Surf Ranch Pro presented by Adobe. Jadson sitting on a 5 and a 3.73, hovering right there in the middle with an 8.73 total.
Well, the 3.73 is right here on the right, so this is the opportunity for him to increase that score. Important one, very deep.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. He's still there. He's still there. He's still there.
Jadson. Oh. Rug pulled out right from under him.
Bummer.
You can't blame the wave.
He needed Aladdin to slide him out of there. The magic carpet.
I mean, that's just the fine line. He was so deep. If he was an inch forward, you know, there's such a
that would have been the barrel
red line
event
in the tube. Yeah, and right there, he knew he had to push it, or not push it to stall it. But as we've seen already, you know, a little bit too much of a stall, and you'll get caught slipping.
And he was right there, but there was just no way to get that clean water, to get that extra squirt, just to get him out of it. Man, that was a long time that he was gone, disappeared from view, and he was still there. You could see the jersey, the dark jersey. You know, this was like you said, or like I mentioned, that this was the opportunity, carrying a 3.73 to improve on this right, to gain those points needed to get into at least that second position, to garner himself that bonus ride. But let's watch here as he's stalling himself, and look how deep already he is, and then just parked it. And that put him right on the bubble. Look at the line. He's right there. Look, he's still there. And then finally it just...
It's like opportunity was knocking, and he was running through the house to go open the door, and by the time he opened it, opportunity was gone. Jadson Andre now has... This is where you have so much time to think about what's about to happen.
Yeah, you just watch that thing coming. It doesn't get to you quick enough. As soon as you're on the wave, it's all good. It's all the anticipation mentally beforehand, and then this is all physical.
Jadson has a whip for a frontside turn.
Oh, he sees something down the line, getting some speed.
Never a lack of speed.
Woof!
There
Nice.
it is. Good. Kind of high frontside reverse.
Nice combo.
With the quickness. He's back at it, involved in the lift. Jadson Andre now clicking up into another gear. You love to see it. You want to see this wave ridden all the way to the end. Jadson now fighting to hang on.
Man.
Did so much work out the back. A super creative line from beginning to about the last third of the wave. So he didn't complete the wave all the way, but showed us a lot of what we want to see and what the judges want to see. That's a unique, creative approach to this wave.
It is. You know, again, he's seeing that there's combinations of maneuvers is what the judges have been rewarding. And then, so this is the reverse, straight into a beautiful, powerful snap, layback, gets some release, and a third hooking snap with spray everywhere. So that 3-turn combo, and even the fourth here. And so he's feeling really good about this wave. He's like, okay, now I'm just going to clean it up. But it's hard when you see the lip not to push again, right? And go, I'm going to get more points. And that little bit of greed plays in.
Well, this is a turn right here that is relatively easy for any surfers on tour. You know, most ripping kids at your local beach break can do frontside reverses like that. But that turn on this wave where he did it makes it critical, makes it a really tough turn and tough trick to do because you're going so fast down the line. So full credit to Jadson Andre right there. That choice, you know, he's just looking in the files. What trick do I do? Oh, there we go. Frontside reverse. Bam, pulls it out. No problem. That will be a huge day of surfing. If you're in that 5th seed, you got yourself in the top 5. Your job's not done yet. You've got a tough road to potentially grab a WSL championship title. Now let's get back into the basin. Seth Moniz. This guy is known for being so good in the air. So good when his fins leave the water. A real speedy, sparky surfer. Right there you see some early signs of his intent.
He needs to get an extra point here. So if he can get it on this wave, turn this when he's carrying a 5.8 on the right. So if he can get himself a 6.8, he's going to at least tie for that second position to get the bonus wave.
Ooh, that was a nicely placed turn for Seth. A big carving snap. So mixing things up, reaching into his bag of tricks, pulling things out like that layback snap. It's nice and smooth entry into the tube. Here's his final opportunity. One more ramp to go for Seth Moniz. What's he got for us? Goes into the big frontside reverse.
Steezy.
Liked it. I like when surfers throw it up almost upside down. No grab needed there for Seth Moniz. His feet stuck on the board, cruising out the revert when his fins engaged. Love that wave from Seth Moniz.
I do too. With the fact that he needs to gain a point here, so this wave needs to be a 6.8 in order to get that second position from Ace Buchan, and I think it's close. I mean, it definitely feels like an improvement on the 5.8 for sure. I mean, it didn't make any mistakes on this wave. The back half of it, really nice combos here, and then the solid finish with the air reverse. Nicely done. Steezy little knock knee roll out of it. Didn't get the grab, just a little tail waft.
Welcome back to the Surf Ranch Pro, the Jeep Surf Ranch Pro, presented by Adobe. Seth Moniz, last wave comes through a 6.53.
That's enough. That put him in second spot, so he's already in the bonus round, but he can add some more points here because there is surfers coming in after him.
Well, Seth has flips. He's got rotations, 540s. He's got it all. His bag of tricks runs deep, and it's filled with modern maneuvers. You see him streaking down the line, setting things up. He's got malicious intent for this lip. He does damage with that last turn. Comes around that really creepy foam ball section. He's taking a lot of our field out. Seth now, nicely done over halfway through this wave. Love the back leg, just kicking off the tail, throwing tons of spray.
And that thing's on fire right now, too. And he's holding it together. Last section.
Ooh, cool little layback stall grab rail. Comes out a little bit late, so he didn't get to take advantage of that final section, but threw some hammers at the wall during that entire wave. Got a nice little tube at the end, rode out of it. You know, didn't get that flashy, clean finish, but nicely ridden wave. Solid work for Seth Moniz.
So it feels like to me there was an improvement there to the 4.9. He had already gotten enough points before that wave to get himself into second position, so he's going to earn that bonus run unless, you know, the last surfers to run here. Gabriel's already at the top notch, so I think we're good. He's going to get himself a bonus run. Watching the replay here, straight up, you know, and a lot of different angles of approach from him on the back end. You know, there's some straight up, there's some out in the face, like that hook there, and that one upside down.
Such a cool little stall right there. It's the subtleties that just make this.
And that was similar to that air reverse he did at the end. It was a little bit the knock knee, just the style that kind of comes in, that creativity that I'd like to see here.
Style counts in a big way. It usually kind of surfaces itself in the judging criteria by the word flow, but that's really how you link your maneuvers, what you do between turns, and what you're doing with your arms and legs in and around those turns that give you that style and that element of flow in the judge's eyes. What is Medina, the vibe right now going through his head? He does not look like he's feeling any pressure at all.
I think he's more comfortable than ever before. I think he's more confident than ever before, and let's take a look.
Here we go. The Medina show is on. Backhand packed with power, just like his forehand. No weaknesses in the surfing of Gabriel Medina. And I think here's where we're going to see him able to just free things up a little bit. Do something radical.
God, he's so precise on that backhand hook. Reliable, powerful, looks good, keeps the speed going. Oh, there's some looseness. Love the no-hand grab into it, yeah. Like no hands and then grab. Easy.
And nicely done. Power reverse for Medina. Having some fun right there. That was just pure power and precision on that wave.
Trying to improve on a 7.47, and it feels like he's done that.
I think so too. The ending alone, just that last second of flash.
And I really like the very beginning. I mean, the momentum build up to the 3 straight up hooks here. Look at one.
No setups.
No, and no pumps. Just straight down into it. And then the float into the barrel. Again, not really grabbing at first, and then once he gets planted, he just slows everything down. And just a perfect little pig dog style. Riding the foam ball, no worries. Didn't want to push it too hard.
How hard is that to no grab, kind of lay back into a tight barrel like that?
For him, not that hard.
But what about for everyone else?
Yeah, a little bit tough. Yeah, you have to have great balance, which is what has made this guy so good. His balance is like no other. It's very front and back foot at the exact same time. You know, you see one would push a little harder on the back foot, or some will push a little harder on the front foot. He's very balanced. That's why he's so good with his aerials.
All his turns like clockwork too. Straight up, and then the nose is straight back down, adding difficulty, adding flair and fire to each and every turn. That's all Medina all day long right there. Just dropping 8s, like no problem. I mean, I'm assuming that's going to be above the 7.47, like you said. He's already sitting on an 8.37.
It feels like it, yeah. I mean, in comparison to his last right, he had a few more maneuvers, had better flow. And then, the tail whip at the end.
I mean, for better or for worse, we've all watched these guys train on Instagram. And for them to say that they're that gassed, and I love that Seth said it right there, over a mile and a half of surfing or something, you put that into what you do at your average beach break, or even a long point break like Rincon or something, you're not going to go nowhere near a mile like these surfers are going today. And here's your current Rip Curl WSL Finals top 5 Will this change after this event, Pete?
Well, that will, because Jordy's not here. That's a big one there, because he's not going to be gaining any points. So you can see someone kind of jump over the top of him. But again, we got throwaways, so he's pretty much counting this one as a throwaway for his scores going into that WSL Finals in September.
Gabriel Medina is not worried at all about scores. Right now, he's worried about putting on a show. He's got an 8.37 and an 8.63.
Yeah, so he did an improvement on the right, and now is trying to improve on an 8.37 here on the left.
Yeah, he's just trying to put on a show for the fans and for the judges, sliding his tail around, showing us his fins, speeding up, projecting down the line, going up into the air for another big reverse. He's not done yet.
Oh, he's late.
Still
Wow, how's that entry?
section to come, and Medina never count him out until the wave is completely gone. Okay,
right?
Now he's gone.
Okay.
Now we can feel safe in saying that Medina's not still in the tube. But wow, what a series of maneuvers there for Gabriel Medina.
That was pretty cool, huh? I mean, and if he had just gotten that little half-inch further down the line in that end section barrel, I would say there probably would have been an improvement on that 8.37. He was definitely on his way. You know, the outside section very similar to his first left, but then it is where he got a little bit more loose and a little bit more risk-taking abilities. He even gets his fins free one more time right here. And just all different approaches in that fin free. Air above, pulls it down, no worries, and he's caught behind. Somehow forced his way in that back door. Just not enough speed.
I mean, his ability to basically do whatever he wants on those Cabianca surfboards is really almost unmatched. I mean, you can tell he is in complete control of his board wherever he is on the wave. And what is different about Medina this year? You know,
Nice.
he took it to Italo in the title fight, of course, but this year he just seems like he's on a whole different
He's
level.
just free, you know. He's cruising the globe with his beautiful wife and having a grand old time and winning.